I'm Lupus Hegemonia, a textures designer that I did over 50 mods for Skyrim, and I published them on Nexus site community. After a strong argue I had with some Nexus moderators, they found it very logical to ban me forever from Nexus. Therefore, I had to find another place to host my work. And I decided to make my own site for that purpose. A place, my Skyrim mods. Because of my argue with some of the Nexus team, I was very insulted, very angry, and generally, very negative towards the Nexus community. But since most of the mods are published in Nexus, I can't but keeping links sending the users to their site. Nexus is a superb place to find great mods for your games, but horrible place to communicate with human beings. I don't like them, I don't want to advertising them, but we need their host space, since they have the most Skyrim mods you want/need. But what happened? Why was this god banished from the Mount Olympus that is https://www.nexusmods.com/Skyrim/mods/taptime/?adult=1? In order to answer that question, I'm going to have to take you back to the past to install some shitty mods that suck ass. It's the autumn of 2017. Despacito is playing on the radio, everyone is looking forward to The Last Jedi, and the world has not yet experienced a global pandemic and societal collapse. It's a pretty good time, eh? Also around this period, a man from Greece discovers a game by the name of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. You might have heard of it before. This was his experience, in his own words. I've started playing it, slowly. Ha 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 ha, I truly lost my sleep. I can't understand in which cave I was living in all these years, that I didn't play it already. Just before Xmas, I already finished the main quest, the Dawnguard and Hearthfire DLCs, and I was at 68% of Dragonborn, with a powerful Nord 82 level character. After, again, of friend suggestions, I started modding. And modded he did. While most people would be content with installing a few simple texture mods, maybe a mesh replacer or two, that simply would not be enough for our intrepid mod explorer. He decided to go in deep waters, and followed, for 2 weeks, the famous STEP modding guide. Like a holy bible, apparently. Was that enough for him? Was it fuck? One simple guide would not satisfy his insatiable thirst for graphics. He tried a different modding guide, the notorious STEP, which featured over 600 different Skyrim mods, open brackets, exclamation mark, close brackets. Surely this would be enough. How many mods can one man desire? But still, he wasn't satisfied. That setup was way too total overhaul, he cries into the void. I must create my own guide. But this time, I'll use Skyrim Special Edition. In his continuous search for perfection, he installed and uninstalled, tested and tinkered with 70% of all the mods that were available at the time. Again and again, he broke the game, suffering through countless glitches and crashes, just like the explorers of old who endured horrific storms and disease to find their El Dorado. Skyrim had to be uninstalled and reinstalled 10, 20, even 30 times, just to cope with the Frankenstein-like experimentation it was undergoing. Eventually though, his perseverance paid off, and the best overall shift Skyrim guide, or boss, was born, and it was beautiful. But that still wasn't enough. There was still something missing. Some of the mods displeased him, especially the textures. And so, Lupus entered the world of mod creation himself, jumping headfirst into it. Using his skills as a professional illustrator and designer, he went on a retexturing rampage all over Skyrim's innocent files. Training dummies were retextured, chopping blocks were retextured, road signs were retextured, not even the goats were safe from the madness. And the reception to these retextures were generally positive. People seemed to enjoy the added quality that these mods offered, even if the author of them did have some interesting opinions. But that honeymoon period was about to come to a dramatic end.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
It's the 24th of July, 2018. A user by the name of Ashley95 is impressed by the quality of the spider textures in the rustic frostbite spider mod created by a modder named Gamwich. Lupus is unimpressed by these puny textures and responds, "You haven't checked out the Ignored Ones mod, a mod created by Lupus to improve many things in the game, including the spiders." Another user replies with a shocking assertion, "I did, and all I could find was a stolen lock texture that you added grunge on top of. The ripples from this allegation travelled around the world several times, causing widespread earthquakes and tsunamis. He even included proof in the form of a side-by-side image which he claimed proved his case. Just then, Gamwich himself jumps in and has some questions of his own. At Lupus Hegemonia, I never gave permission for you to use my lock textures. Since when is it okay to take another mod author's work? Other users quickly pile on. This guy should be banned for stealing others' work. He won't answer you here. I suggested reporting the mod's page. Stealing assets from another mod author is bad. You're making it even worse by discussing your work on the mod page of another mod author. Lupus feebly tries to defend himself, claiming that most of the well-known great texture mods were simply copy-paste process. But it's too late. The house of cards that is the Lupus Hegemonia mod empire starts to wobble. Before long, other users come out of the woodwork to claim the theft of numerous other textures. Skeletons, beehives, taproots, and many, many more are found to be exact copies of other modders' textures, with some simple filters added to them. The United Nations calls a worldwide meeting to figure out what to do about these horrific war crimes. The US and UK demand an immediate nuking of Greece to provide some sort of justice to the world. But thankfully, Norway manages to calm them down. Good lads. Ireland and Switzerland, unsurprisingly, remain neutral. And his mods aren't the only thing under attack. Lupus's past comes back to haunt him. Years upon years of abusive messages come to light, with Lupus frequently shit-talking other mod makers and their mods. Here are just a few of my personal favourites. If you search any dragon creature in books or paintings, has 4 legs, the front are hands too, and on his back has the wings. These creatures, in Game of Thrones or here in Skyrim, are not dragons. Comprende, senor? Now go back to your hobbit hole. If you could transform to a were-dragon, would make some sense. Watching a normal character with a pair of dragon wings attached on his back makes me laugh. Looks too silly. Is it, or was it, a dragon rail as creature too? Your comment is childish. Less than 8 years old. Are you that much young? Jesus, this man, he really loves his dragons. Yeah, well, she doesn't look at all with the famous Japanese porn actress. I mean, she doesn't look not even 10% like her. You may change the mod's name to something else, we'll be fine. But as Hitomi Tanka preset, nope, doesn't look like her. Yeah, and then that just kinda goes on for a while. But Lupus doesn't let these accusations and attacks on his character get him down. He continues to be a very active member on the Nexus mod forums, shit-talking anyone who wrongs him or tries to claim that their follower mod looks like a Japanese porn star. That is until one fateful day, in late October, when that house of cards finally collapses. Eventually, and inevitably, the moderators over in the Nexus forums get sick of Lupus's shit and permanently ban him. They cite his countless disparaging comments and absolute refusal to cooperate with any investigation into the stolen textures as reasons for the ban. And finally, it looked like the saga of Lupus Hegemonia had come to a pitiful end. But that wasn't the end. Posts were made far and wide, from the depraved depths of Lover's Lab to the white towers of the Steam forums, claiming that Lupus Hegemonia is back in business, baby. The world celebrated. Parades were held in every major city. Mothers were calling their newborn babies Lupus in his honour, and for that one single day, on the 1st of February 2019, the opposing sides in the never-ending Syrian civil war laid down their weapons and joined together as brothers. After 3 months of hard work with a female web designer, whatever the fuck that means, Lupus had his own site, and he was free to do whatever he wanted on it. And that's where his great works lie entombed, far from their home of NexusMods. To this very day, the mere mention of his name on any forum is enough to incite wild tales of his cuntishness. And in the mainstream of Skyrim modding, he is now simply a myth. A relic of a bygone era, with his mods and guides being overshadowed by newer, fancier creations. But some claim that if you stand perfectly still in the forests of Skyrim on a clear, starry night, the wind rustling through the leaves starts to resemble Lupus, complaining that Skyrim's dragons aren't real dragons, and that you, dear listener, are less than 8 years old. But I will not let his legacy fade into the abyss. He has inspired me to try some Skyrim modding of my own. So I found a guide and got to work. Minutes turned into hours, which turned into days. My internet connection strained as I downloaded terabytes of cheese retextures, and my hard drive was filled with countless modding tools. Any files were edited and patches were installed, as the never-ending quest for Skyrim perfection continued. NPCs' faces were changed, and I can't really be fucked doing this anymore. Bye.